Since the beginning of time, the moment that sin and death entered this world, wickedness and murder and violence have reigned on this planet. And throughout the entire Bible, men and women of God, as they engaged in the things of God, men and women of the world tried to kill them, tried to stop them through violence and murder. Even Jesus himself, it literally says that the high priest, they all went over to the high priest's house and they all sought how they can deceive and murder him. This is how it works. And I believe that, unfortunately on this channel, what I see a lot of is a lot of people, Christians specifically, struggling with the idea of defending themselves with arms. And I'm here to tell you that you have to do that. Like, you are obligated to do that thing. Moses carried a sword. David always carried a sword. He was constantly in the state of fighting and defending himself. There was a moment in time when he was actually so old that one of his sons and his army was trying to kill him, and they literally had to carry him out in his bed. It just doesn't stop. It just simply doesn't stop. And now what we've seen is we have clearly entered a new season in this world. I don't care who you are, whether you're an atheist, Muslim, anti-theist, devil worshiper, I don't care what you are. You know that around 2020, this whole world entered a new season. And this new season, I strongly believe, is the coming of Jesus Christ. The revelation of Jesus Christ is being revealed to us, that we are that generation to see these things. And as we get closer to that date, and here's one thing for sure, we're definitely closer today than we were yesterday. That is for sure. And as we get closer to that day, wickedness is going to abound. It's going to dominate. It's going to get more and more and more and more evil, to where the point where evil is good and good is evil. And now what we're seeing is, we're living in this world. We're living in America, and in this country specifically, there's a pretty decent population of people that have lost their minds, and it probably has a lot to do with satanic and demonic influences. That's why when they stand at Starbucks and you get their order wrong, they just lose their mind, because demons are whispering in their ear, you're going to put up with that? You deserve better than that. You should lose your mind. You should start throwing cash registers at these poor people that are making your coffee. But beyond that, what you have is you have the criminal element getting more and more violent. People are killing people for fun. In the broad daylight, like right in front of people. They just don't care anymore, because the reality is, the cops are there, and thank God for them, but they're not going to help you. If you find yourself in a situation where you need to protect yourself, you're going to be alone in that situation, because even if there's people around, they're just going to break out their phones and film it while you're getting killed. And then you're going to be on TikTok getting murdered. That's welcome to America and the wickedness of the demonic, satanic rule that is Babylon. And the sooner you get that in the head, the sooner you put a sidearm on your hip every single time you walk out that door. You should not wake up tomorrow and not put a gun on your hip. You should for sure have a gun on your hip tomorrow. Your spouse should have a gun on their hip. Your adult children should have guns on their hips. You don't play around, because what we do is we walk around this world and everything's fine. It's fine. What's going to happen? Nothing really changes, but you see it around you. And it's just, I pray that I go my whole life and don't ever need to draw my gun for any reason other than for fun and practice. But if I do, it is a lot better to have and not need than to need and not have. So I'm just imploring with you, as you get out and go out today, put a gun on your hip. For the love of God, don't go out unarmed. Don't be a fool. And especially if you're a Christian, Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall inherit the earth. Those of us who are willing to stand up for our neighbors and defend the helpless, we inherit the earth. So as you get out today and tomorrow, just have a gun on you. If your gun's too uncomfortable to carry, get a new one. If it's too big to carry, get a new one. If it doesn't work, get a new one. If you don't have a holster, get a good holster. Like, just get your gun on your hip and carry your gun is ultimately what I'm pleading with you to do. You know, I know there's places in America where it's much more relatively safe than others, of course. But it's just that one moment in time. You know, I could go, I spent my whole career teaching in the inner city in the worst neighborhoods that there are in America, and never needed to draw a gun, and then I found myself in the woods all of a sudden confronting people who aren't supposed to be on that land, and I'm thinking, well, sure glad I have a gun on me, and this is the way that we have to be. We have to be prepared regardless of where you are in the world. And the way you do that is you arm yourself. Jesus himself, the night before he was captured, or the night that he was captured, the night before he was killed, prepared the disciples to be separated from him physically by telling them that they need a sword. And he didn't just say, like a lot of people say, well, what do you mean by a sword? He meant a weapon. He meant a self-defense, concealed carry dagger. The word is dagger. That's a concealed carry weapon of the day. That's what he told them to have on them. Well, why, Jesus? Why do we need weapons? Well, because the spirit of wickedness is seeking to kill and destroy. That's why. You have to open your eyes to the reality of what this is and get a darn sidearm on before you go outside. And honestly, you should probably have one on in your house as well. You've seen and heard of home invasions, right? Like I always have a gun on me. Always. Like if you see me in my underwear, I got a gun on me somewhere. Which you never will see me in my underwear, for the record, but I do got a gun on me. I'm not going to play around. I'm not going to be caught in a situation where somebody just walks into my house and I can't defend my family, or I'm, out at a movie theater and somebody decides to shoot the place up. Like, I'm not going to find myself in a situation where I just cower in the corner hoping I don't get killed. No. I'm going to defend myself, I'm going to defend my loved ones, and I'm going to defend the strangers around me as well. That is why you Christians need a gun on you. You're obligated. If you don't defend your family, I think God's going to frown on that a lot more than you killing somebody because they tried to kill your family. Let that sink in for a little bit. Blessed are the peacekeepers. We get to inherit the earth. It's not just a clever saying, it's the truth. And the sooner you wake up to it, the better.